And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. We've got a great lineup for you here today. We're going to talk about cryptocurrencies and some of those emerging markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, those types of conversations. Jackson Shimbakar in the house. We've got Jenny Restrepo also back in studio as well from Insured Title Agency. And we're going to be kicking off with Doug LEVI, our expert contributor for all things insurance-related, strategic insurance, expert contributor on the program today. Ways to save money on insurance with Doug LEVI. And before we jump into this, I want to let you know about a couple of our hot listings. As you know, we like to feature our real estate listings, kind of give you a little flavor of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida, what's happening and what's for sale here in the real estate space. Brandon Rhymes here, your host, Consumer Quarterback Show, and also Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And we got a hot property right here in Gulf Harbors. This is up in Newport Richey area. It's 5014 Pompano Drive. Waterfront, beautiful property right here, completely renovated, remodeled, corner lot location, fenced-in property, 5014 Pompano Drive. Now, this is almost 1,700 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, waterfront with bay access. It's one of those for boaters. You're out into the bay in about 5 to 10 minutes. There's not a whole lot of idling and things like that, like some places are, where it takes 30 minutes to a half hour to get out in the water. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
And I just left Replenish IV Solutions. I feel great. I feel energized and hydrated and replenished. I went down to the Gandy location. Stephen and Lisa Gunnan have their location there, Replenish IV Solutions. And I just got hooked up with the Vitamin Infusion Drip, putting all the good nutrients right into my bloodstream, into my body. Check them out online, replenishivsolutions.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, so we're back here in studio. Let's go in studio here. We're going to introduce Jenny so she can kind of tease what we're going to talk about coming up here. Jenny, give us a little flavor of what you're going to talk about today.
Hi, Brandon. Okay, today I'm going to tell you why you should never, ever sign a contract if you don't understand the terms of the contract.
Good deal. Yeah, because it can lead to unknown places, right?
The terms of the contract are whatever the piece of paper says that you sign, and in the state of Florida, we could write up a contract on the back of a napkin, and if Brandon signs it and I sign it, it's an enforceable contract.
Okay.
So beware of what you sign.
Yes, absolutely. And always talk to an attorney. We got a lot of great attorneys associated with this show as well. If you need connections to any of our expert contributors, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, insurance expert, tech experts, all types of great folks associated with the show. That's why we set this program up. 813-917-1894. Just call or text that hotline, 813-917-1894. Had a lot of great callers last week as well, folks reaching out, wanting to know more about their mortgage. We had a couple calls about the Deeds Pro show that we talked about, probate issues. Reach out to the hotline. That's why we set it up. We'd love to help you out there. And we got Doug LEVI on the line as well, Strategic Insurance. Hey, Doug.
Brandon, always good to be here.
Yes, sir. Ways to save money on insurance.
Yeah, I figured today we just wanted to talk about, hopefully lift up our callers and everybody out there. We know there's lots of challenges across the economy and inflation and different things, and certainly insurance is one of them, no doubt. But I just wanted to talk high level today on some things that people can do to save money on your insurance. So these are the writer downers for the listeners out there. If you're listening, tune in real close to the radio here. So just high level, Brandon, a couple things that everyone can do to help save some money on their insurance. The first one, and we talk to our clients about this all the time, is looking to increase your deductible. Mm-hmm. So all insurance kind of works like a teeter-totter. If you think about it, you've got the higher the deductible, the lower my cost is. The lower the deductible, the higher my cost is. So let me give a real simple, easy illustration on this. Let's say I've got a homeowner's policy, and I still see it sometimes. It's rare, but I still see it. Let's say I've got a homeowner's policy, and I've got a $500 deductible. I may be paying $2,500 a year. Maybe I take that to $1,000. Maybe my premium comes down to $2,100 a year. Now I'm saving $400 a year by bumping up my deductible a little bit. So you can do that across the board. You could do that on your homeowners. You could do that on your auto insurance. You can do that really on your commercial insurance, your business insurance. Anytime you've got a deductible, you can look to take that higher. Now, I always tell people, make a common sense judgment, right? If going from a $500 to $1,000 deductible doesn't really save you that much, and that little extra out of pocket, if there was a claim, would really put a pinch in your pocketbook, then don't do it. But again, there's a lot of times where it can make a significant difference. So that's one right there, Brandon. I don't know.
That's good.
Any questions on that or
well, especially
on
inflation too. Inflation setting in. People are automatically losing purchasing power thanks to our politicians, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. But we're losing. They're expanding the money supply. We're losing purchasing power. So maybe you're in a pinch. Maybe your budget's tighter than it's ever been. You might want to reach out to Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, and talk to him about maybe you switch to his organization and you save some money. Maybe you reorganize things and raise your deductibles. And yes, it's a risk because if an event does happen, then you're going to have to pay more, out of pocket. Right. But it's a calculated risk, right, Doug?
100%. It's a calculated risk. And, I tell people, too, you don't get money back from the insurance company when you don't have the claim. You follow me? So you've been paying all those years at, let's say, a $500 homeowner's deductible. You've never had a claim. The company is not going to come back to you and say, hey, great job. You really haven't had any claims. Here's some of that refund for the higher deductible.
Right.
So I always tell people you want to self-insure as high as you feel comfortable. That could be $1,000, $2,500. Some people do a $5,000 deductible. It really depends, right, on everyone's situation. So that's one. Then the other one that's kind of, it's low-hanging fruit, but I still see people that don't always take advantage of it. This really dials in on homeowners insurance, Brandon, and that's using a wind mitigation inspection. I know we've got some great show partners that help with inspections. This is becoming more and more well-known. It's been around now for almost 10 years, but simply if you're out there and you're scratching your head like, I have no idea what a wind mitigation is, or maybe you just moved down from another state, and, this is not in a lot of other states. It's basically an inspection that's done on the roof that's going to look at the features and characteristics of the roof. How the roof's attached to the truss, is there any secondary water resistance, a handful of things that a roof inspector will look at. That inspection can save you anywhere from 10 to 40% on your homeowner's insurance. That is a big one, a very, very big one. So if you don't have a wind mitigation inspection and you've got a new roof or a newer roof, you need to be running and get an inspection and get that into your carrier. That's another really, really big one that can save money.
Yeah, I like that one. We're talking with Doug Levi here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Strategic Insurance, local expert contributor here on the program. Reach out if you have any questions or want to get a review done. And also, flood insurance is another big item up for discussion right now.
Yeah, flood insurance is a big one for sure. Lots of changes started in October of last year where the federal government, which runs a lot of flood insurance, through the NFIP National Flood Insurance Program, passed Flood Insurance 2.0, right? You got to love everything's 2.0 now. And just kind of governs the rates and how things are changing. A couple big takeaways, and Brandon, we talked before the show, and this as a realtor, is that if you're in a situation where you're purchasing a home and someone has an existing flood insurance policy, the seller has an existing flood insurance policy, you as the buyer may very well be in a better spot to assume that person's flood insurance policy. And what does that mean? That basically means at closing you take over their flood insurance, right? Name will obviously change to yours, but in terms of the features and the pricing on that policy, that locks you in. That may be a better rate due to the time it's been with the flood insurance carrier and sort of the metrics that it was written under, if you will,
right,
than trying to get a brand new policy today. So always best to check. We're always here to help. We know, we share TampaBayInsurance.com as our website. You can go right online, chat with us. We'd love to take a look at any homeowners or auto or any really insurance situation and just kind of review and give you a good second opinion on where you're at and what some good recommendations would be.
Yeah, I think that's a good overall topic, too, to discuss, Doug, because right now, a lot of these actuaries are re-examining their strategies, right? I mean, I saw
Yeah.
some studies and I listened to a lot of different podcasts. I try to get different perspective from different things out there, but there was one particular show that I was listening to, and it was talking about the actuaries noticed a 40% increase in the mortality rate. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, so that's on life insurance, right?
Yep.
So that is it really goes to, though, Brandon, that if we just think real simple on a couple things, I don't care what type of insurance we're talking about. These companies aren't dummies. They're not out to lose money, right?
Exactly.
And I'm not here saying the insurance industry are your friends, so don't get me wrong. I kind of see both sides of it. But they run a business, and they're going to look at what their expenses are,
Yes.
right, and how things go. And if they start to see trends, they're going to adjust their premium pricing accordingly. So on that one, it was probably a study of life insurance, noting that maybe the mortality of a specific segment of the population could have been, who knows, men over 50 in a certain sort of segment, that maybe they identified, hey, these are a higher risk, they're going to get charged more. And that concept gets passed on throughout the industry, right? So, doesn't matter what it is. And then that really goes to, again, well, what do we do? What can we do? So we've already just talked high level, a few things. We could always look at our deductibles, wind mitigation. I'll even broaden that and just say any discount you may be eligible for. Ask your insurance agent or the carrier, am I getting all eligible discounts? There may be discounts that are not applied because maybe they didn't get applied. The agent didn't know, who knows what. But, sometimes carriers will give discounts for being over 55, being in a retirement community. On the driving end, if you've got a youthful driver that's got a B average or better, a lot of carriers will give a good student discount, right? So there's all sorts of different discounts that the carriers can give. It's just a matter of making sure you're taking advantage of those as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a review. Doug, you also offer incentives for folks to get a review. Reach out and
We do.
Look back at what you got going.
Yeah, 100%. So we just try and have some fun, and obviously I joke Amazon has become almost a second form of currency for anything like my family. The boxes show up every day or every other day. So we offer a $17 Amazon gift card.
Yeah.
And it's really just for the opportunity to review your situation, your family situation, your insurance. So, and a new policy, but at the very least, you walk away with a $17 Amazon gift card. So take us up on that.
Yeah, take them up on the review, 813-917-1894. Just call or text the hotline, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. And Jenny has a question. Jenny's in studio here from Insured Title Agency.
Hi, Doug. Okay, so while you were talking, I had a question. How are the insurance carriers treating smart home products? For example, if you have a Ring doorbell or if you have a connected home that's connected to your smoke alarm, are they giving any sort of credits or discounts? Because, we just got through the holidays, so what if you receive this new system, you already own it?
Yeah.
Is there a savings that you can actualize because of that?
That's a great question, Jenny. So for years, the carriers have always given an alarm discount, right? So I have a monitored alarm, whether it's Ring or ADT or Brinks, doesn't matter. As long as it's central station and monitored. That is a big one, though, because a lot of times we find people may have a Ring system or may have a certain system, but if it's not actively monitored, they're not paying a monthly subscription where the alarm goes off, the fire department or police department gets called, the carriers will not give a discount. But if it is being monitored, and certainly lots out there have that, you can get a discount. To your point, on the smart home products, we are starting to see some of the carriers adopting these. So one of the ones that we see a handful of carriers out there that I can think of would be a smart Wi-Fi product called WaterCop. There's one called WaterCop. There's a handful of them, but basically a product that maybe goes on your water heater so that as soon as your water heater may start leaking, you're notified. So the carriers can justify and say, hey, we'll give a discount for this because we know that as soon as this product goes off, that you're hopefully going to get to it a lot quicker than maybe if you're at work all day and then you come home and, your house is flooded or something like that, right? So we are seeing some adoption of that. I certainly think as the homes become more and more smart and kind of the Internet of Things, you'll see the carriers adopt more and more discounts where they can in those areas.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And, those types of monitoring, you see those in condos as well, because, condos, it goes through the ceiling of one unit into the other, floor of one unit into the ceiling of the other, and it can cause a relay domino effect and cost a lot of money. So those are great products to look into. And Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, the insurance quarterback here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Final thoughts back to you, Doug, and how can folks contact you?
Yeah, so again, our website, TampaBayInsurance.com, we really, we feel super blessed. We just found out we made the cover of Rough Notes magazine, which is a big insurance publication magazine, and one of the things that I talked with the interview on that today is we definitely have a servant's heart. Our goal is to serve the community, and the way we do that is helping people with insurance. We know it's something that's not fun and not easy to understand. So we just try to make it as easy as possible and treat you like we would treat our mom, sister, brother, relative. So we'd love an opportunity to really help anyone out there in the community with any of their insurance needs. It could be home, auto, commercial, life, health insurance. We do all of it. And we're a top 25 agency in the area. So please check us out at TampaBayInsurance.com.
TampaBayInsurance.com. Yeah, and that's a great one to I think a lot of people overlook, having a bypass surgery myself about 14, 15 months ago, some type of disability. What if something happens to you, you can't perform at work? Is your family going to be taken care of? Are you going to lose your house? Are you going to lose your vehicles? There's a lot to consider there as well. So Doug Levi is your one-stop shop for all things insurance. Reach out to him. Thanks, Doug.
Always good talking to you guys. See you, Brandon.
Likewise. Bye. All right, we're going to take a quick break there. When we come back, we've got Jenny Restrepo in the house, Insured Title Agency, also our feel-good story of the day. We got a good one here. This is an inspiring, powerful story about someone that went from homeless to helping the homeless. Really cool story here out of Clearwater, a local Tampa Bay woman right here in Tampa Bay. And our feel-good story of the day right here coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Hey, Margie here with the Consumer Quarterback Show and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying, selling, or investing, please give us a shot. We would love to help you. We are a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and you can reach us at 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550. ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, The Business Journal. We're looking for inventory. Attention sellers, we need more inventory to sell. If you're a seller on the fence thinking about selling your property, we want to hear from you. Free comparable market analysis. Check out consumerqb.com.
Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894. 1894.
And welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Jenny Restrepo in the house here talking about things happening in Tampa Bay real estate. And from an insurance standpoint, or a title, Insured Title is the company, from a title insurance perspective. And you also see these different stories coming through your offices. You guys close a lot of files. So you said you had a recent success story or something interesting come in the office.
I wouldn't say it was a success story.
Yeah.
But an interesting story, yes. Matt is our title manager, and all of the trouble files go across his desk.
Oh, boy.
And if I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about on the show, I give him a call or he sends me an idea.
Yeah.
This is something that is being handled right now at Insured Title Agency. There is a property that is under contract. So the seller is selling. There's a buyer under contract. The deal is underway. And as it turns out, when Insured Title Agency did the lien search, there is a lien against this property from another real estate company.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so let's go in the way back. The seller of the property engaged a conversation with a real estate listing company. That real estate listing company offered to give the seller cash up front to do some minor repairs on her home.
Oh.
And this cash advance, the terms for that agreement were, we will give you the money up front, you will complete the repairs prior to listing, and when the repairs are completed, you will list the property with us,
Yep.
and then go forward with a traditional listing agreement, and the seller agrees to traditional commission and repayment of this small upfront cash advance.
Yep.
So I think that the cash advance was maybe, let's say, anywhere between $500 or $700.
Okay.
The seller agreed to this in writing with a contract.
Yeah.
Not a standard contract that's provided by Florida Realtors, but one that's proprietary for this listing company. And
Right.
all names will be excluded. The seller agreed.
Yeah.
Signed. And not even in the fine print, in the black and white, loud and clear section of this contract, it states, if you take our money up front and complete the repairs and you do not list with us, we will be entitled to liquidated damages
Yep.
in an exponential amount to the original amount.
Yeah.
Now, the lesson I'm going to say, interjecting right here, is if anyone presents you with a contract, whether it's a real estate contract, any kind of contract, make sure that you read the entire contract.
Yeah.
Make sure if you don't understand a part of the contract that you ask questions. If Brandon presents you with a listing agreement and you want to list with the MVP Realty team and you're not understanding a portion of that contract, Brandon or any other agent on his team would be happy to explain it to you. Because at the end of the day, when you work with reputable people, no one wants you to enter into a contract that you don't understand what you're agreeing to.
Right.
So no question will go unanswered when you're working with a good and reputable real estate company, title company. We welcome questions at Insured Title Agency all of the time. You don't understand what you're signing, you don't understand what this means, you don't understand how to read a document that was presented to you by our team, we will help you.
Right.
Because ultimately, you should feel confident at every step of the transaction.
That's right.
Well, this seller, she signed it, then took the money, and then listed her property with a different real estate company. Altogether, totally different company. The new listing agent had no idea that this happened.
Right.
When the first company realized that the house was listed with a different company, they put a lien on her property.
Yep.
For the amount that she agreed to of liquidated damages. $500 turned to $11,000.
Wow.
There's $11,000 lien on the property that must be settled at closing. Now what's happening? At first, the seller said, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
Oh, geez. Just flat out denied it.
Or forgot you signed this piece
Yeah.
of paper. And the new listing agent who has a listing agreement, who believes she's getting a commission on the sale of this, had no idea about this either.
Yeah.
Well, now there's a lien on the property.
Yeah.
And this lien is binding. And why? Because the seller agreed to this contract.
Yeah. Yep, I've seen similar. I've seen some scenarios play out. Lots of different things playing out. Other realtors saying, "Hey, I had an active listing agreement," and man, a lot of good stuff. Let's come back more with Jenny Restrepo here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and also coming up later in the program, Jackson Shimbakar, Crypto Kid, our expert contributor for all things cryptocurrencies. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well. We'll be right back after a short break.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Johnny, you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And welcome back, Consumer Quarterback Show. Brandon Rhymes here. Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Just joined the sports and entertainment division as well with Keller Williams Realty. 200,000 agents worldwide. We're capped at 1,000 in that exclusive club of the sports and entertainment certified realtors. So really excited about that. Pretty cool stuff happening around the program. 14121 7th Street in Dade City. This is just listed property. Beautiful opportunity here for a restaurant. We got a restaurant for sale, commercial property for sale. We do vacant land and commercial properties, as well as, of course, residential as well. 14121 7th Street in Dade City. This is a established restaurant downtown Dade City. So you've got street parking, plenty of parking out back as well. You've got an apartment upstairs, 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment. 2 dining rooms. So downstairs you've got a dining room there. Then upstairs more of a banquet style setting. Beautiful property in Dade City, a restaurant for sale. Listed at $650,000, $650,000 range. Great opportunity to own real estate and invest here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Great opportunity here. And also another property that we've got is 820 Pinellas Avenue in Tarpon Springs. This is a commercial property. It's currently set up as a home, but it's right on a busy corner section, corner location in Tarpon Springs. So you've got the walkability to restaurants. Of course, you're close to the Sponge Docks, Tarpon Springs, downtown. Beautiful property. Could be a perfect office for an attorney, real estate, insurance office, etc. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, so Jenny Restrepo's in the house, Insured Title Agency, talking about some of the different stories, these different scenarios that play out in real estate, and we've had some interesting ones over the years. So you want to recap a little bit of that story you're talking about?
Yes. All the interesting stories come from Matt. He has been in this business for over 20 years. And if something is happening outside of just the normal process, he is our go-to guy. I think this is maybe my 4th story that came directly from his desk.
Yeah.
But in conclusion of what we said earlier regarding contracts, there are the standard contracts that are used by most agents. However, certain real estate firms and other types of brokerages have their own overlays. If you buy a real estate owned property or bank repossessed property, there's typically different addendums. It could be listed with like Fannie Mae or Home Path. The moral to the story is if you are presented with a document and asked to place your signature on that document, which then enters you into a binding contract.
Yeah.
Ask all of the questions that you need to ask and make sure that you clearly understand what you're agreeing to.
Right.
Because in the state of Florida, if it's in writing and it's signed by all parties, it is legal and binding.
Yeah.
Don't agree to something that you don't feel comfortable with. If
Right.
you're presented with a document and you don't feel comfortable with a certain term, either redline it, meaning cross out and change,
Yep.
or don't sign.
Yeah.
Don't sign. Don't agree to something that you don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and get us involved. That's why we're here. We set this
Certainly.
program up as a consumer advocate-based program, and we've been doing it for almost a decade now and 20 years plus experience, in the real estate mortgage background. So we'd love to help you. Reach out to the hotline. That's why we put this show together, and Jenny's got a great team over there that can help you, especially if you're for sale by owner, you're trying to do something on your own. You're going to need a great title agency to help
Absolutely.
you close that transaction.
Yes.
So that's a place where you can help people in the community, and also doing some different events coming up as well. I don't know if we selected a date for that event coming up, but for people in the industry, reach out as well, because Jenny is a mover and a shaker, and she's organizing a cool event coming up as well. Yeah.
We believe in education and giving back to our community, especially to our partner agents and mortgage brokers. Every time that you learn something new, you're doing better not only for yourself, but for your clients and for the community. We believe that if you're going to grant us your business, we want to offer you something in return. So we're going to be bringing back BABA, Become a Better Agent seminar.
Yeah.
totally focused on just giving you the best possible information to have a successful business. And something else, if you're in the industry, so if you're in the real estate industry at all, Insured Title Agency sponsors a box at the Tampa Bay Downs Horse Track, and we would love to have you come join us.
Yeah.
Wednesdays and Fridays are the live races. I'll be there if you'll be there, so give me a call if you'd like to come out to the horse track. Just have a fun afternoon of networking, bet on the races, have a good time. We would love to have you.
Yeah, that's cool. It's pretty neat to have that in our own backyard right here, and sometimes
Absolutely.
people overlook it, but it's a fun day, something to mix it up and get out there.
If you go on the weekends, it's very family friendly as well.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, they
cool.
have even like a picnic area. They have picnic tables, so lots of people come on the weekends, bring the kids.
And I've seen that parking lot packed over there.
Yes.
Tampa Bay Downs. It's right there close to the county line. If you're not familiar, it's Pinellas, Hillsborough county line right there, kind of towards Oldsmar.
Yes, and our office, our West Chase location, is basically 2 minutes from there.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so final thoughts, Jenny. What else do we need to know? Ways to save money. I got notes written here. What's another way that our consumers can save money?
Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret that I'm not supposed to tell you. If you're thinking about refinancing your home this year, in some situations, depending on what your interest rate was when you purchased, a refinance can get you cash out equity of your home if you want to do some improvements, or if you could even potentially lower your payment based on interest rates are going up a little bit now, but they're still lower than maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago when you first purchased your home. If you're thinking about doing a refinance, you got an owner's policy when you purchased your home. Mm-hmm. If you provide that owner's policy to the title company on your refinance, you will receive what you call a reissue credit. It's not always automatically granted, and it cannot be granted unless you provide a current copy of your owner's policy. But if you do that, it's it ranges, but it could be a couple of $100 savings in your closing costs on your refinance.
Yeah.
And no matter what lender you're using for that refinance, you can select Insured Title Agency to handle the closing for you. We do refinances not just in the state of Florida, but in most of the states in the United States.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, good stuff.
So we're here for you.
Thanks for coming in. Website insured_title.com.
Insured-title.com.
Title.
Yes,
okay.
insured-title.com. Or you can obviously call into the Consumer Quarterback Show, and they will refer you right over to us.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
you coming
me.
in. Good tips there. And we are going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we've got Jackson Shimbakar in the house, the Crypto Kid. He's a published author and a crypto expert here on the program. And also our feel-good story of the day. And once a mother experiencing homelessness, local woman gives back to Pinellas nonprofit that helped her. We'll be right back with our feel-good story of the day.
The Consumer Quarterback Show will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in
813-917-1894.
Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing. Check out consumerqb.com.
Looking for a venue to host your next business or family event? Make it Largo Event Center. The Consumer Quarterback Show has used the Largo Event Center, and the hall and service you get is fantastic. Over 8,500 square feet of meeting space, perfect for events, expos, and trade shows. Upstairs offers space for smaller meetings and groups to include use of their lounge and game room. Plenty of room outside for car shows or food truck events and concerts. Largo Event Center is just west of US 19 on 126th Avenue. For booking and details, visit largoeventcenter.com. That's largoeventcenter.com. Or call Guy at 727-776-3442.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We always like to tell you something positive here in our feel-good story.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we've got out of Clearwater. This is a story. A Tampa Bay woman is retracing her roots back to life when life was anything but easy. She was homeless, trying to raise a family on her own when a local nonprofit came to the rescue. Now she's doing the rescuing. Room 207, Jonita Lewis still remembers the number as she looks back at her time at Grace House more than a decade ago. She says, quote, "I was a young mother, pregnant at the time, struggling and going through some hardships. Unemployed, found myself homeless, and she reached out to Grace House and they had some availability," said Lewis, and now she's returned as she's the vice president of community affairs and assistant to the president for Hope Villages of America, which oversees Grace House. So being in the trenches was a tough hardship, and it made her want to get back into the field and inspire her to help others in that situation. So there's a local story of a woman who's very inspiring, powerful story, helping. So she went from homeless to helping now, and she's in a position of leadership there. So cool story in our Feel Good segment of the day. And this segment's brought to you by Chad Irrigation. Victor and his team over at Chad Irrigation, they do a great job with our real estate properties. Reach out to them for all of your irrigation and sprinkler needs. All right, we got our friend Jackson Shimbakar in the house. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Brandon.
The Crypto Kid, not only your name and kind of likeness, but also the title of your book.
You got it.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. How you getting some good reception on that?
Yeah, we've been doing very well on Amazon. We just had a book signing a couple weeks ago now, and we had filled it up, standing room only, did very well.
Nice. Good to hear, man. So, yeah, crypto-based ads, some of these crypto advertisements in the Super Bowl, which was well watched. I think it was something like, I heard, what was it, 111 million or something?
Yes.
Big Super Bowl. So it was a close game, and so talk to me about some of those ads.
Yeah, of course. It was a great game, a lot of fun to watch. It's the biggest televised event of the year, and what we saw during that is that in this year in particular, we had a big surplus of these ads involving cryptocurrency, metaverse, all the buzzwords you hear on a daily basis nowadays. And one of the biggest ads and one of the most notable ads was a QR code that bounced on the screen for 56 seconds. And what it did was it got the curiosity of everyone. It was very, very good, very well thought out for them, I thought. The marketing department did a great job there, and it was exactly what it was. It was the old DVD little video screen in which it was a QR code that flashed to certain colors and bounced on the screen until it hit the corner, right? It was very simplistic, but it brought the older generation back to their younger years, right? And of course, the new generation, all they wanted to do was scan the QR code.
Yeah.
Now, there were a couple security issues with this, though. So, number one, it did extremely, extremely well. It got 20 million hits in 56 seconds.
Wow.
And you said it's just over 100 million watching.
I think
so
it was,
they captured just under 20% of the audience to actually click on it and engage with their advertisement. So they did very, very well, but it crashed the site in 15 seconds.
Holy
cow. So, yes. They spent, I believe it was upwards of 14 million on that ad and $0 on site management.
Oh, my goodness.
A little bit of a conflict there. But what they did was they brought a bunch of new users into the website, and then there was a promotion running saying that if you sign up now, you get $15 free of cryptocurrency if you sign up before February 15, right? And that's today. So that's what they did. They did an extremely good job with that. But what it did was it was very controversial because in the cybersecurity space, it opens the door to phishing scams, which I also want to talk about because you need to protect your assets when you're in this space. It's very, very big. I only use Ledger Nano S. I use a hardware wallet to store all of my private keys and to have my assets offline. It's very important. And so it is good to bring awareness to people that you should not just go and scan every QR code you see, right? And it's a very big thing because now what's happening is after they've got 20 million scans in less than a minute, 56 seconds, right? After that took prominence, now you have all of these scammers going out and showing the ad with their own QR code, and it redirects to a phishing scam in which they collect personal data, and not only
Wow.
personal data, personal financial information.
Wow.
Because Coinbase is the website. And it's a perfect target audience, people that want to get into Coinbase, that have no idea what to do, and they're just going to throw in information.
Wow. So they recreated that ad, showed it to their own, served it up to their own data, either some kind of a list they had, email
Exactly.
list or text messaging list, and then people are scanning that. And wow, so that's giving them a direct access to that either phone or computer
You got it.
device.
So these ads, I think there's a big upside, and I think they did very, very well. But at the same time, I think there are definitely risks associated, and so you can look at both sides of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so cryptocurrency, it's growing well. It seems to be going well. I think there's a little bit dip right now. I was talking to a friend of mine actually about crypto at this Super Bowl party that they hosted, and I was surprised to see even in the top 10 we had talked about Dogecoin.
Yes,
but it's still in the top 10, right?
It's still in the top 10. It's still coasting there. Yes. Most of the hype has died down now. What happened was during SNL, that big week where Elon Musk hosted SNL, and Elon Musk was referred to as the Doge father. He was the guy that was really carrying it, right? He was spreading to his 50+ million Twitter following base that this is the coin to buy. It's going to be the future. It's just a lot of fun, right? And it captured that retail investor market, and it was perfect. I think it served its purpose. It got people involved in the space. Is it a good investment? I would argue no. Is it fun? I would argue yes. I would not discourage people to go throw $100 into Doge and just have fun with it, right? Mm-hmm. It gets them into investing. It gets people engaged. It's a token with no tokenomics, and it has a picture of a dog on it. Who doesn't love that, right?
Yeah.
Now, should it be a real investment? No. But is it fun? Yes, right? And so that did bridge that gap, and I think it served its purpose and brought people into the space.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so we're talking with Jackson Shimbakar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and we've had Jackson on in the past, talked about crypto and the wallets and all the different areas. Talk to me about Russia, because there's obviously stuff going on in Russia right now with Ukraine, etc. But also they're doing something along the lines with their crypto.
Yes. So I'm kind of going to focus the entire eastern side of the world, the globe. You can see right now, it's always been shaky with crypto. We've had the whole that eastern pocket, especially China. They've banned cryptocurrency over 200 times, and it's almost a meme now in the space where CNBC comes out, Bloomberg, all these business channels, they come out every single year after year, and say China has banned cryptocurrency over and over and over again, and it always comes back, and it's almost like a little tug of war game and a cat and mouse game, just going back and forth over and over. And so finally, we've had some very good news come out. The Russian ministry is making some positive development with cryptocurrency mining, and that's very big for a couple reasons. Number one, I mean, Russia's huge, right? And there's going to be a lot of computing power introduced into the space once this regulation gets clarity. But beyond that, hash rates are going to increase. Demand is going to increase. There's going to be more clarity, and so more investor surplus coming in on that side, because these institutional places are going to come in with these big money.
Investors,
and yes, institutional investors, yes. And I think that's going to really change the game in a little bit. And again, we're talking about maybe a 2 to 10% shift here. But I think that's still important over time, right? And that's the stuff that we look for, because the hash rates are going to improve. The difficulty level in mining is going to go up as a result, because there's more people involved in this space.
Right.
The mining pools are going to grow as a result of that. And so it's going to boost the whole entire market kind of shifting to the right if you look at it from an economic standpoint, right?
Yeah.
And that's very important. And that stuff, it is going back and forth. And when that happens, provided that it's successful, it's going to trickle into China. It's going to trickle into India. And it's going to continue to expand that whole industry on the eastern side of the world.
Yeah, I mean, that side of the world right now is definitely a place to keep an eye on. I heard on one of my podcasts I listened to, they were talking about Russia and China combining forces they agreed to terms on a oil pipeline, some kind of an agreement. And the big takeaway for me was that it's not based on the U.S. dollar, it's based on the euro.
Yep.
So that says a lot. It shows a lack of confidence in the American dollar, and they're saying, hey, let's get away from that American dollar. And of course, our politicians have ran our dollar supply into the ground. Talk a little bit about what you've seen, in terms of the American dollar shrinking, the inflation. They're growing the money supply, and just the effects that it's having. The middle class is getting hit hard right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've all heard the cliche statistic at this point with the massive amount of money printing, but it is still important. I do think it's important. And you've had these people in the financial industries say that you should buy gold and Bitcoin, and gold, silver, Bitcoin, even extend it to silver, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think they're wrong, right? I really don't. I think if you want to preserve wealth, if you want to have that classic hedge against inflation and throw money in a spot where it's not going to go down 7% a year on average, mm-hmm. I think that's a good thing, right? I really do. And it feeds into why the S&P is getting hotter and hotter on the retail investor side, because people don't know what to do, and they just know that the U.S. dollar is going to continue to be devalued. And politicians are going to continue to print more because it brings down the U.S. debt. Why would they not? And if you look at it from that standpoint, there is no incentive for them not to. Why would they? It helps them out with the debt. They're politicians. They don't care. I mean, it is what it is, right? And so you look at it from an American standpoint and say, well, the U.S. dollar is strong. But is it as strong as it once was? No. And so you have to place your bets and see where it is. And from an investment standpoint, you have to kind of see where it is. And I would argue that gold and Bitcoin are better bets than just holding your cash in your mattress.
Yeah, you definitely need to diversify. You know, the thing I think with the accountability factor of that is in 22 there's going to be a shifting of the tide. So a lot of the backlash is going to be, hey, these guys are going to get voted out, both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
Both sides,
and I think a big piece of it right now is trying to raise interest rates and get it back to where it was. But the thing is, monetary policy or fiscal policy, raising an interest rate less than 1%, raising it 1%, that's not going to do it. That's not anywhere close to what we need. And the problem is that to raise it more than 3%, more than 4%, it's not going to happen, right? So we're in a very difficult spot, and you have to look at Powell up there with those industries, and it's a very tough spot to be in, right? And if you're the chair up there, if you're in government, it is a tough spot to be in, right? And that the solution is not clear to how it can present itself, but it is very difficult to pass regardless of what that solution is.
Yeah, and there's a recession coming, and Steve Cortez, one of the guys I listen to on the financial side, he's talking about a recession coming because we're past stagflation now, and so the explosive borrowing he mentioned, and that we're looking at a deep recession because it is inflation driven. And to your point as well, with raising the rates, if you raise the rates too aggressively, now you're hurting the real estate industry, which has been a main economic driver for the history of the United States. We always lead the country out of these tough times when it comes to people buying homes and refinancing their mortgages.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah. It's that question of you want to aggressively fix the problem, but if you go too aggressive, then it's too much, and it overburdens the markets. So you have to find that happy medium, which is a very difficult place to get to.
Yeah, one of the things we need to do is onshore, bring jobs back. That's
Absolutely.
One of the biggest things. Bring manufacturing back, onshoring, bringing the common sense back to us. We're talking with Jackson Shimbakar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and he's the crypto kid. He's got his book out now as well. So yeah, it's interesting. What are your thoughts on this metaverse?
I'm a big believer in the metaverse. I'm going to tie it back to the Super Bowl commercials. Not only was it just Coinbase, not only FTX and these classic exchanges, but there were VR commercials. There absolutely were. And there were a lot of people with these headsets on. And then you see the Meta tag at the very end referring to Facebook and stuff. Facebook's changed their name to Meta. These are big, big moves. And I kind of go back to this big argument that if it was not here to stay, if it was not going to be something prominent in the next 10 years, why would Facebook, one of the biggest public companies, right? Why would they go and change their name? That is a huge, huge marketing decision in which everyone's heard of Facebook, not everyone's heard of Meta. So they decided to do that, lock up the domain, lock up the rights to that, and they decided to make that explosive change in the sense that it's going to turn an audience on or off, right? And they're going to say that it's going to be off. And right now, it's not. Right now, you could consider it a flop as of now. But the thing is, will this improve over the next decade? And that's a very good question, I think. If I were to gamble, I would say yes, but nobody knows. No one knows, right? But I do think it's here to stay. I think the application is endless. I think that decentralized finance as a whole in this space, in the sense that you can utilize blockchain technology and own certain assets in a world that is digital, I think we've already had this, and now we're able to use it with blockchain.
Yeah.
I go back to Fortnite and say that their concerts have been used in Fortnite. An actual digital concert within a video game. That still blows my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now we have a digital universe to use all of these different assets. I think it's going to be huge, and I think it's here to stay.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at where people put their money today, and those pre-roll videos on YouTube. There's a guy that comes up, he pops up, Jeff Lerner, and he said he's made something like $80 million selling real estate in the metaverse.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I haven't researched it a whole lot, but it's interesting.
No, it's entirely correct because it feeds the royalties directly back into the creator's pocket. It's a huge thing. So in the past, what would happen? You start the record label. You're a rapper. You're doing anything you want that's creative, that's producing something.
Yep.
And you have that audience, and the record label or whatever that governing entity is, they're going to take the majority of it. Now with NFTs, you're going to get 80% back.
Right.
And that's massive. Gary Vee himself, he did 90 million because he had a 10% baked into that code. Yeah. And the code is public. If you don't like it, you don't have to purchase it, but everyone did it anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting. Always a pleasure, man. Good conversation
Absolutely.
there. Good stuff. Reach out. ConsumerQB.com will put you in touch with Jackson Shimbakar. You can reach out to the hotline as well if you'd like an introduction. 813-917-1894. Just call or text that hotline, 813-917-1894, and ConsumerQB.com. We want you to go out there and consider a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.